Hey guys, today we're going to talk about 7 car maintenance myths that are false. Definitely myths that go around in our industry, and you hear it from one person, then you keep on hearing it again and again and again. Well, we'll go into them and let's jump right into it. Hey guys, and welcome back to another Talking Mods. Now, sometimes we get questions from people or misconceptions that we hear from different customers. And if you're wondering who are our customers, well, we run Mod Bargains. It's a automotive website full of parts, and we have a service shop, Mod Auto, where you might have seen some more videos where we drive the vehicles, put on the modifications, and so forth. Anyway, so we'll hear different types of myths that they might have heard from I don't know if it's a mechanic. Usually it's not a mechanic. It's usually somebody that they just hear from, whether it's their parent or just hearsay that happens. And it seems to be a very common thing that AAA actually did a survey on it to find out how big of a myth it was. So I'll give you guys the numbers. We'll jump right into it. The first one being oil changes. So AAA found that 45% of the people that they surveyed, now this survey happened in 2019, so it's not 2021. Maybe people have gotten wiser. I know that there's a lot of TikTok videos out there, right? But 45% of people believe that their vehicle should be have an oil change every 3,000 miles. This is definitely a myth, not true, very false.
That is a rumor, and that is false.
You have different types of oils out there, a lot of new detergents that are available from many great brands. Some of them can last up to 15,000 miles. 10,000 miles. Yes, I like to personally change my oil very often, but not 3,000 like at a hard stop. Now, unless it's a 300V, if you don't know what that one is, check out the Mod Bargains channel where I talk about it. But 3,000 miles, that's definitely a myth. Most modern oils will allow you to run your vehicle for a lot longer. So, number 2. So AAA found that 42% of people believe that their car battery will last at the minimum of 5 years. That's another big misconception. In actuality, car batteries typically last between 3 to 5 years. A lot of conditions affect things, right? And AAA basically did, they took a survey out of 2.1 million of their on calls, so what their calls were for battery replacements. This was, again, in 2019, so that's the sample size is pretty big. And they typically found it to be that within 3 years, you should get it looked at and then kind of make a judgment call and see. You can get it tested and they can tell you, okay, there's enough life in it or not enough life in it. It really depends on your driving. Are you regularly driving with that vehicle? If it's a weekend car, I really recommend a proper battery tender. I recommend the C-Tech. Especially if you're modifying, and if you need it, we have it at Mod Bargains. But I really like the C-Tech brand, what they've done, just in terms of my own personal usage and what I recommend over all the other brands that are out there. I just don't find them to be that good, and they don't maintain the battery life as long as a C-Tech would. All right, so the third one. So 31% of the AAA members who were surveyed believed that if their car was serviced, then their car warranty would be void. That is false. That's a myth. Yes, dealers like to keep you within their group. Oftentimes, though, you do have a warranty and you can use your warranty as long as you're within that period. I recommend doing that, right? But if you do need to just make an oil change and so forth, sometimes their prices can be pretty high, and you can actually just do it at a local independent shop. Why not save yourself some additional money? It does not void your warranty. That is a myth. Not sure how that one has come about. Maybe it was dealers trying to scare people to try to keep the customers there. So be aware of that one. All right, number 4. So number 4 is AAA. Again, the AAA members, 19% of people believe that they never really needed to change their brake fluid. Another myth, that you don't need to change out your brake fluid. Wow, this is a really problematic myth. So brake fluid is often completely forgotten about, and I see this on a regular basis, even with people that come in and they're trying to upgrade their brakes, and I just say, well, aren't you going to get the brake fluid? And no, I'm just going to do the pads and the rotors. Well, brake fluid itself, manufacturers recommend 2 to 3 years. It depends on the DOT version of it, right? So the DOT 4.1 that comes standard, again, that's a recommended 2 to 3 years. I think it's around 3 years is average. Now, if you go with a higher end brake fluid for your enthusiast guys, the actual time for it is only up to 1 year. By recommendation by the manufacturer. You could probably go a little bit longer if you forget, a year and a half, you should be fine. But going beyond that, you're causing problems. There's an ability for corrosion. Brake fluid basically, how can I best explain it? It kind of grabs some of the atmosphere and it gets this condensation, almost like a water solution into it. And you don't want that happening over time. And it can corrode, it causes problems, and it can be catastrophic. So for some reason, people just completely seem to ignore it. Brake fluid is not expensive and something that you should remember to do on a regular maintenance. So it doesn't last a lifetime, guys. All right. So the next one is some people think that using premium fuel is going to increase your performance. Guys, whatever the recommended octane for your vehicle is at. So let's say your vehicle has 87 on it. And a lot of people, this misconception comes in, hey, you should use the premium fuel. It's going to be better for your vehicle. It's going to run better. No! And that's what they think, they're going to get more performance, right? Because the 91 or 92 has better performance. Not true. If it says, when you open up the gas cap and you can see it says 87 there, or it's in your owner's manual, what the recommended fluid is, right? The recommended octane is, as that's the one that you should be putting into your vehicle. The reason being is the engine is tuned according to that octane. So adding in, all you're doing is just wasting your money. Okay, so for the next one, I kind of talked about this a lot in some of the tire videos I've talked about, but one of the misconceptions is when you are getting low on your tires, you should replace all four. Not necessarily true, because let's say you didn't rotate your tires, right? And you had it wore down on, let's say all front tires are completely worn down, but the backs still have plenty of life on them. You can, again, use the tread depth gauge. But that's a misconception. You don't need to replace all four. What you do need to make sure, though, and I highly recommend it, is making sure that the tires that you buy, might not just need to buy 2 tires, that you basically make sure they're the same brand and the same type. That'll make the driving, you can put different tires, I'm not saying you can't, but it'll make the driving a lot better and everything handle accordingly correct. So yes, I can understand why somebody would say replace all 4, but that can be very expensive. So if you're on a budget, replacing all 4 is not mandatory by any means. Obviously, you want to check the life of your tires before making that replacement happen. So just accordingly, if you got a flat on one, does not mean you need to replace all 4, guys. You can just replace the one. All right. The next one is if you're washing your car, you should use dish or laundry soap. Dish soap or laundry soap is the best way to clean your car. Another big misconception on maintenance of your vehicle. Those are they eat away. They will eat away into the clear coat. They're designed for your dishes. They're designed to eat away. You should just purchase a proper soap for your vehicle. They're designed with the right chemicals that are not so harsh. Unless you want to eat away at the clear coat and destroy the life of that vehicle, stay away from those things. Now, if you stayed all the way through this, guys, you know how I like to give a bonus always at the end. And before I go into that one, please put down your comments. I'm sure I missed a bunch of other myths that you have heard out there, and I think it always helps us. So, transmission fluid should be flushed every 50,000 miles. Again, completely not true. Another myth. I think most owner's manual and the right recommendation for transmission fluid is around 100,000 miles. So you don't need to be changing it out that often. But you do want to do, one thing you do want to make sure is that you get the right transmission fluid for your vehicle. So Japanese vehicles particularly will have a transmission fluid specifically designed for their transmissions. Like Honda will have a specific one for them. So if you own a Honda, you want to get the right transmission fluid. So research it. Don't just go with a generic one. Or if you go into a shop and they're recommending it, they'll usually have like some generic one like that can be all purpose. I don't recommend that. I actually recommend using the proper fluid because it's designed for the right temperature tolerances that are designed into the transmission. So that was your bonus one, guys, and I will see you on the next Talking Mods.